All of those traits that make up that human being or that does that makes a terrible CEO. A CEO is calm, calculated. They train people.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Ari, half a billion-dollar company is not easy because you have to unlearn constantly, right? When you go to 0 to 1, when we talk about this podcast, product market fit. So when you make from 0 to your first million, okay, now after you first the first million, you have to um, delete everything you learned, because now going from 1 million
A
to 10
little bit.
million is totally is different. Then 10
Well,
million to
you
100 different. You have to be able
you're
to
right.
unlearn. So how
I
come
love how you said that, Harry.
you
This
develop
is
that
this is
capacity until get a
this is
billion?
so much wisdom. There's so much wisdom in what you said. I'll give you an example, okay? And I've used a lot of different business coaches, life coaches. I'm a huge fan of Tony Robbins. I saw his picture in the back of your thing, going to his seminars, conferences, and doing the inward work. And I'll give you an example that one of my coaches taught me. So I'm a founder and a CEO, obviously. And a founder and a CEO, we say them closely like million and billion, but they're very different. And I'll tell you why. The qualities that make a great founder, let's talk about them. Bold, risk taker, hardworking, can do a lot of different things. They're good at marketing and sales and finance and fundraising, whatever, all these different things. Okay. That's a founder, great founder. You have to have those qualities or you have no prayer, right? Belief, conviction, grit, all of those traits that make up that human being or that does that makes a terrible CEO. A CEO is calm, calculated. They train people. They put lieutenants and generals in place to build departments. They build systems. They build processes. They're not as much bold as they are patient. Meaning that to evolve from founder to CEO, just like you said, the strategies that get you from 0 to 1 million are not the same from 1 to 100, or 100 to a billion, or so on. And fundamentally, this is why founders are fired so often from their companies. They say, oh, it's because he was an asshole. He probably was an asshole, but that's not why he got fired. It was because his genetic makeup, his wiring or her wiring didn't evolve. So the business evolves, the strategy evolved. Netflix was sending DVDs in the fucking mail, and now they're a streaming company. Amazon was doing book sales out of Jeff Bezos's garage, and now they sell everything. My point is, evolution, the innovate or die is how these businesses start. So what you started in is not what you're finishing in. And oftentimes as founders or CEOs, we forget that we have to evolve, that we have to change, that we have to be curious, that we have to audit our thoughts, audit our feelings, audit the way we look at circumstances so that we can continue to innovate as human beings so that our business then can be a reflection of us and it can continue to grow and prosper as we prosper, as we overcome our past selves.
Yeah, I have a big experience with this, Ari, because okay, let's face it, we all have ego as entrepreneur. Okay, otherwise we're not gonna be we won't be entrepreneurs because we think that we can do better. So
Of
okay, we have
course.
that ego. But then my first business was in property, and after you start to making money and everything, you go to the office and you're thinking that you're a big deal, that you know everything about it, that everybody needs to talk, that you're the big boss. Okay, And Ari, after 2 years, the first 0 to 1 million, you know how hard it is. You've done it several times. So I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. All the clients have 177 tenants. They all want to speak with me. All the team want to speak. And I have a lot of money in the bank account,
Mhm.
and I'm so angry. I'm so tired. And uh, and um, and then something shift. Like I said, okay, what if I put a sign in the office out of survival. Okay, if you have a problem, bring three solutions. You choose one and try it out. So I had to do this out of survival. I'm thinking these people are gonna kill me. When I'm gonna sleep. So with between all the tenants and everything. And what happened, Ari? I surrendered my ego in that process, and the business was not about me anymore. It was about them. Guess what happened? 2 years after, my manager, I arrived to the office and my manager told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you here anymore. I said, what? I said, yeah, we can grow
Thank
this
God.
company without you. Go on holiday, try the work. In fact, don't come here because you come to talk to us and we growing a business here. And I remember that what I told her, really? You want me to go home? Who's gonna buy the paper for the photocopy then? Who's gonna do that? And she told me, we can buy our paper for the photocopy, Harry. Just go home. So it shift the dynamic, but I had to take a lot from me to let it go. This and a big deal and a big boss. Everybody had to do what I say, and I made the business about me, and I was miserable and a slave of my own business. And when I surrendered that ego and I started to participate, they gave me, I mean, the first day I feel a bit weird, like what I'm gonna do. But the second day was amazing. I was thinking, wow, it's unbelievable that I pulled this off. So Ari, when do you realize that ego that we have as entrepreneur, that we have it, that you have to, for example, part of the rewinding that you're talking about is just that. That ego sometimes don't allow the entrepreneur to rewire themselves. They know better. This is if I make 1 million like that, I'm gonna make the 10 million like this, and you don't know what you're talking about and things like that. So when do you realize that? Hold on a minute. Um, this to make $1 billion company, it need to start with me, and I had to be able to rewire, to drop that ego, to listen, to be a team, to don't be an asshole. When you realize all this,
Well, I think we're constantly realizing. I don't think it for me, I don't think it happened in one particular moment where it's like, oh, haha, my ego went aside and now, it's candy canes and lollipops. Um, I think it's a constant unveiling because there's a part where you have some realization where it's just you working and then you hire your first couple people, and then that one point you let your baby start to grow up. And then when those people start bringing other people and start, so I think it's a constant unveiling um, that takes time to evolve. And I think if your business is growing, because it's either growing or dying, period. All business, just like life, growing, dying, one or the other. So if you are in a hyper growth business, and look, we started with, I started with a $3,500 loan. If you build on the hundreds of acres we own, office buildings, apartment complexes, industrial facilities, you're talking about billions and billions of dollars worth of assets. And that comes, billions starts with bills. So, so when you think about that and all the responsibility that you have and all the people that you have to rely on to do it, you're constantly shedding that old skin, enhancing your operations. And as you enhance your operations, I think those are an extensions of the enhancement that you're doing. So I have personally spent more time on my personal development as the business has gotten bigger than I do on the business itself, spending more time at meditation retreats, spending more time, with, doing Tony Robbins works, watching these podcasts, reading new books, being around great minds, because the more that I feel like I've been able to do that, and yes, at the beginning, it can be very humbling. But once you realize how gratifying it is and how amazing it is, it's like, I'm a father of three. Okay. I have three beautiful children. And I think of my business in a way like my baby, like my child. But my child that's being raised by a lot of different people, a lot of great minds, great employees, staff, consultants. Just like when I took my youngest daughter to kindergarten, this year, she had to get out of the house. She had to, go into school. She had to go make new friends. She had to evolve. Business is very much like that too. So when your manager very lovingly said, Harry, you can go home, it's kind of like her teacher saying, no, dad, it's okay. We got this. Like, we're gonna keep this going. I'm still her dad, but business takes that same pull. So I think constantly asking ourselves a better question every day, questioning our responses, questioning how we do things, questioning how we show up, questioning our triggers. Because look, there's a lot of different kinds of intelligence. There's emotional intelligence, mathematics intelligence, social intelligence, etc. But one of the intelligence is called metacognition. And metacognition means thinking about what you think about. So as a business owner with all these things happening, as you start to make decisions or how you run a meeting or how you run an investment strategy, if you can pause for a second and start thinking about how you came to that decision or why you've done it like that in the past, it can start to bring new situations, new ideas. But the point is, the Japanese have a beautiful, beautiful term that I love so much. It's called Kaizen. And Kaizen means constant, never-ending improvement till the day that I die. And it's a lifestyle. So being an entrepreneur in a growing world in the fourth industrial revolution, when information technology is growing exponentially, is accelerating exponentially, we have to take that same analogy to ourselves as business owners, as entrepreneurs, to say, how can I change? How can I evolve? What can I do better? What was the strategy that got me here? And then constantly just pushing that, so that you can be the best you can to serve your customers as much as possible.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.